Thank you, Maxwell. The one big ugly law is a disaster for Central Florida. Record cuts to healthcare, record cuts to nutrition, record funding to double down on mass deportations, and record debt, all to fund tax breaks for billionaires that we can't afford. When you look at what's going to happen over the next 2 years with healthcare, it breaks my heart. First, we'll see this year, Obamacare rates go up between $1,500 to $15,000 per family. We have by far the largest Obamacare exchange in the nation. 4.6 million Floridians get their health care through the Affordable Care Act, including my district, which is the second most in the nation. And Max is in the top 10 too. In fact, all the top 10 Obamacare districts are in Florida because we have a lot of folks who don't have employer-based health care and they get it through the ACA. Then we'll see a tax on Medicaid. First, there'll be these new bureaucratic requirements that we've seen already in Georgia and Arkansas lead to massive amounts of people losing their health insurance. And just to make matters even crueler, the new ugly law doesn't allow folks who lose Medicaid to go on the ACA. It's just another level of cruelty and uninsurance. And if you have insurance through your employer, you're going to see that go up because when you have more uninsured, somebody has to pay for it. And so everybody's plans will go up. We're also going to see from nursing home care deeply devastating cuts. Abuela's coming back on the couch. Grandpa's coming back because about a third to a half of our nursing homes budgets around here are through Medicaid. Also kid care. A lot of people love kid care. It's been a smashing success. This 2-page form you fill out at the school, your kid gets health insurance. 40% of the kids in our district get health insurance through kid care. Kid care is Medicaid. Medicaid is kid care. And we'll see a devastating cut to that for our kids. And then for our veterans and the disabled, we're also going to see cuts to so many of these programs because they simply won't be able to get onto these programs. That drama you will see bear out next year, both with the requirements that are going to be added on, the bureaucratic requirements, and then the state legislature is going to have to make those cuts next year for the following year. So I know who's going to be in Tallahassee next year to tell them, hell no. Hell no. I know I'll be there. I know Max will be there too. And then nutrition. About 15% of the families in my district, they get their health care through SNAP. These are families that are working poor, folks who are helping in so many different industries around here who are struggling to get ahead. In what world is having kids go hungry a positive for Central Florida and for America? And then we see doubling down on mass deportations. $150 billion was allocated to the one big ugly law for mass deportations. That's more than the U.S. Marines get. I know we have a Marine veteran here, Senator Torres. Hoorah, thank you for your service, sir. Let's give him a round of applause for that. I'd rather be funding the Marines than trickling down ice. They can't seem to deport cooks and landscapers, cleaning ladies and nurses quick enough. And it'll destroy our economy, split families apart. They can't wreck our economy quick enough. And now this weekend we go down to Alligator Alcatraz. What an absolute dumb gimmick that is. Our state already had a dark history with the Dozer School for Boys having African-American young men for nearly a century sent to the Panhandle. Many of them died, and now we thought that dark history is closed. Now we see it with predominantly young Hispanic men being sent down to places like that for nothing other than wanting to live a better life around here. It'll hurt our economy. It'll break up local families. And lastly, the national debt. This will add, including all the interest, $5.3 trillion to the national debt. That is more than all the COVID relief combined. What it means is interest rates, even if the Fed lowers them, aren't going down. It's going to mean higher interest rates for mortgages, for auto loans, for small businesses. And that's why this big, ugly law, despite what they're saying, actually leads to worse economic growth, leads to worse declining prosperity in our nation because they're mortgaging the future for tax breaks for billionaires right now. Brevemente en español, este gran, feo proyecto de ley es un desastre por fuera central. Tenemos cortes grandes por salud, cortes grandes para comida y asistencia de comida, y más fondos por una gran deportación y una gran deuda que va a afectar nuestra economía de una manera negativa. Cuando yo estoy pensando sobre familias que tienen Obamacare, Medicaid y cortes de Medicare, I should mention that $500 billion in cuts to Medicare because the debt is so big, so it's going to affect our seniors too. Nosotros necesitamos estar unidos para luchar contra este ley nuevo feo, porque este va a afectar familias hispanos de una manera negativa, nuestras trabajadoras, nuestras abuelas y abuelos que necesitan los centros de enfermeras y otras familias. So we need to stand together. And I'm thrilled to introduce a great champion on Orange County's school board, Angie Gallo. Thank you so much for being here.